Hello and welcome. I am Scrapperlock, and this is City of Heroes on the private server Everlasting with Silver Phoenix, our martial arts super reflex scrapper. She has about 2.5 million experience and almost 17 million influence after we have purchased some things. We have invention enhancement sets on Thunder Kick, which give us some bonuses listed in green down at the bottom there. Increases to smashing resistance, mez resistance, health, accuracy, and so on. And we have a scrapper specific critical strikes um, invention set on um, Crane Kick, which gives us increased criticals and so forth. We're not going to be doing a lot of other inventions at this point. I think the sets on our powers, because you really need to 6 slot most of the powers in order to do any good. Even the defensive ones really require 6 slots to get the most bang out of them. Now, some people will slot 4 out of the 6, but the ones I've looked at, really, the bonuses they give up to the third or fourth one aren't really what I want. So, um, what I'm looking for is things that buff my defense, because I feel like I get the most bang for the buck out of that, and then things that that buff my recharge, my accuracy, or increase my chance to crit. Alright, so a voice shouts Nemesis will rule all. So we're looking into villain recruiting drive, where Freaks, Craze, and Council were coming into here. We need to find 2 clues, and we can't let Danforth escape. So we're going to have to be very careful as we move into the mission to make sure that the villain doesn't get away. We've done a couple of these missions now, and it is possible to fail them. So you have to be very careful. Like going into a room like this, you got to go in and out very quickly, because what we don't want to do is get caught up in a battle and then miss the guy running by us. And so I hear an NPC, but it doesn't seem like it's Danforth. Alright, so I'm going to try to be very careful here. What I don't want to do is put my back to the exit. I don't know how many levels we're going to have in here, and it's only the final level we have to worry about, because when we get up there, then he'll try to escape. There's a critical strike. Looks like we're getting a little bit of lag here. Okay, we don't need all of this. We're not fighting circles, so we don't need all this accuracy, because there's nobody going to debuff our accuracy like that in here. And we don't need all this health. We're going to want more luck. Alright, now I'm going to look up here from down here. Let's put on stealth. Just pull up here and look. That is a vampire and what? A council. Alright, I think we can go up. We gotta keep an eye on below. And there's a freak show, so they're having a little game. Alright, we're gonna do the freak show last because he might res. There's a critical strike. We didn't crit that, that's unfortunate. Should be able to kick this guy into oblivion, and now the freak show. Stun, and crane kick. So now he might res, but I figure this way I'd rather let him res afterwards. And while we're waiting for him, I'm going to keep my eye down here. I don't want to be run past. So we need to find 2 clues. So this is going to be actually quite a challenging mission, because we have to look for clues and listen for glowies, but we also have to keep our eye out for the guy that is going to try to run past us. And who knows which level it's going to be on. Alright, so we're clear on this level. Let's move to the next level. This is going to be hard, no chance of us dying in this mission. But there is a chance, so we gotta watch here. If we see his name, then we gotta really watch for him. So there's no chance of dying, but there is a good chance that he might run past me. So I gotta watch out for that. Alright, so we're right here. We're gonna stand right here. Right, this is the only way to get to the elevator. Come on. It takes so long to target these guys. Taunt. Pull him back. just want to stay in this area, so I'm watching the elevator. Okay, he's done. There's no other way. Yeah, there's no other way to get here except through this section. So we have to keep an eye on this section. Who's up there? A Vigilant? So those are Cray. So the way this seems to work is once you get close enough to trigger the villain, then he'll start running. So I don't know where he is, but I'm just trying to keep an eye over there. Okay. I'm really not interested in the glowies right now. This is one of these where we might be coming back. Okay, so this is a door we have to open, so he couldn't have come through here yet. And that's a dead end. But again, don't want to go too far with my back to an elevator. Okay, so there's another elevator. He's going to probably be on the last level, but I don't know. I really wish in a mission it would tell you how many levels it is, just so you know ahead of time. I suspect that we will see him speak in here as a hint. So remember, we do the subaltern last because he will juice the Armiger. He'll juice the minion, right? He will give him fortitude when he falls. Just trying to keep my eye down this hallway. Okay. So let's clean this up. I come right back. Alright. See again, in, out. I don't want to... there's multiple ways to go here. Oh no, there isn't. I hear a glowy. And my concern is if I go up there, I'm going to run up and look for him. And run back down, just to see if he's coming. I'm going to leave that glowy here and move down the hallway to see where he is. And there's some Nemesis. They have blue costumes, these guys. I really love the Nemesis design. It's very cool. So we've hit him. The reason I'm sorting those is because these are the big ones, so I want to keep them for later. We will come back for that glowy. Okay, so it's safe to take that glowy now because he's not on this level. And so it's not like, so when I first got one of these, I thought, okay, well, he starts at the bottom or the top of the 5th level and starts working his way down. I don't think that's what happens. I think what happens is he starts moving when you get near him on his level. So we're already on the 3rd level. He's on the 4th or the 5th level. So, and he can't come through these doors, right? Okay, so the clue said, Nemesis pamphlet. This pamphlet outlines the goals of the Nemesis organization, which seem to be laudable if somewhat extreme. The stated mission is to rid Paragon City of crime. They plan to do this by creating the greatest army the world has ever seen, thereby by replacing the heroes with the heroes termed hazards to peace. So yeah, right. So Nemesis is trying to recruit other villains to be villains now. There's Danforth. Okay, so here he comes. So we're going to stand right here and go after him as soon as he shows up. And I'm going to try to knock him down, if possible. Alright, we got him. We stopped him. There we go. So now we don't have to be safe anymore or careful. We just got to find the last clue. And there's a bunch of Nemesis in here. Yeah, so he was spawned with this guy probably, but he didn't stay put. He tried to run away. And so if you're not... Fortunately, that one, I don't think there's any easy way for him to get around, to get by you. But if you're not watching with some of these missions, you can really lose out because they'll just run right past you. I'm gonna go ahead and take this. Whoops, I didn't mean to take that one. I was trying to move it. Oh well. No big deal. Okay, there's another glowy. Are there any more guys down here? Yep. There's a lieutenant. Alright. Okay, so I'm gonna put that one over there. Come on, why does it not want to drag? There it is. And then we find the last clue. Sorry, just reading the super group chat. Okay, so now look into the supervillain recruiting drive. So what does that mean? This is Nemesis poster, right? So it's a poster, you know, join us, etc. But what does that mean, look into their recruiting drive? Is there another glowy? This is such a weird office. Just suspended from the ceiling like that with two stairways in and out. Oh, and there's a guy. A Lance Sergeant. Maybe it's just, this is just their way of saying defeat all. Love doing a good knockback like that. Got one hit off on me. That completes the mission, so it was a defeat all. And we defeated the villains and recovered some interesting recruiting material. Now, if we're lucky, Tina Chung might be giving us a Nemesis story arc, but I wasn't sure that the Nemesis story arcs came this early. We'll see. So she says, the propaganda you found is pretty compelling. I can see why a lot of those young men were swayed by it. And Freak Show War. Excellent. So there's a Freak Show one. I just got word that the Freak Show are teaming up with the office of a webzine called Hypertypes that follows Paragon City's superpowered scene. Can you go over to that office? They're tearing it up, not teaming it up. Can you go over to that office and save the Freak Show? Of course we can. So this one's on Talos Island. We're right near the train station, so we can head over there. Don't have anything to sell. So this starts the final story arc of the level 30 to 35 range that was in the original game, I believe. I could swear on one of these signs there was an exploration, on one of the billboards there was an exploration badge, but I can't remember which one. So we're off to Talos Island. And from here, we're going to start the final story arc. This probably will carry us to, or almost all the way to level 35, since we only need 5 beads, and we're going to get almost an entire bead just from completing the arc. And there's, you know, several missions, and you get like a half a bead per mission, so we're going to be very, very close to 35, if not exactly there, by the time the story arc is concluded. And I like beating on Freak Show. They're a little tough just because of their rezzing, but as long as you wait for them and you don't run past to aggro another spawn, you're usually okay. This is a Juicer Freak. Let's pound him. One thing we haven't, the Freak Shows haven't faced before is our nice critical strikes. And they also haven't faced much Eagle's Claw before. A little bit, but not too much. And you can see, like, they can't do anything to me. Now compare this to fighting a minion, to the shape my character is in, to fighting a minion and a lieutenant when it was Spectral Demons from the Circle of Thorn. My hit points are down here and my endurance is down here. Right. So that just shows you how much harder the Circle of Thorns is. And it's not harder as a general proposition, but just harder for this character. They've got her kryptonite. Right. They suppress her defense. We got 3 reporters to find and seek clues, by the way. They suppress her defense, they debuff her attack, and they resist her attacks. Right, so she's doing a lot less damage, both from the resistance and the debuffing. I'm sure there's another guy behind me, but it doesn't matter. Look at that, critical strikes, and critted him. Beautiful. So that took them, look how much faster they went down. And that was an orange and a red, right? But they don't resist my attacks. They don't debuff me in the way that the circle does. So I hit them, and they can't hit me. And that slam now that the tankers and these guys do, where they slam their hammer hands together, that's an AoE that's going to start having less and less ability to harm me, because I now have 14% defense. And at level 35, I'm going to get like another plus 20 defense. So we're going to have like 34 defense against AoEs. Alright, now we wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No res. I hear a glowy, not sure where it is. Sounds like it's down here. There we go, dead body. Oh, that's one of the reporters. Body of Mike Schwarzwald. You arrived too late to save Mike, the investigative reporter from the freak show. In his hand was a crumpled piece of paper bearing the name Joe Baker. So I wonder who Joe Baker is. There's a juicer chief. We're going to go pound him. Done. Now I moved on from him before checking to see if he rezzed, because he's part of the same spawn, so it's fine. I'm just staying in the area. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and he's done. Going up to the second floor. And there's a freak and a lieutenant. Okay. Yeah, so these guys are spawning in the stand. That's the other thing, is the circle spawn did non-standard spawns. So this is the standard 1 lieutenant, 1 minion, or 3 minion spawns. And we're seeing these, whether they're +1 or not, throughout this mission. Now I have not changed my notoriety settings like pretty much at all since level 25. I set it on +1 and that's it. And yet, in the, forgot to wait for these guys, in the circle missions, a lot of times we were either seeing 2 spawns right next to each other, so like a spawn here and a spawn here where you couldn't avoid aggroing them both, or we were seeing spawns with 4 minions or a lieutenant and 2 or 3 minions, which are not standard. So it's really interesting that they chose to do that with the circle. I guess they wanted to make it a little tougher, which they absolutely did. But you can see handling a standard spawn of freaks is like a joke. I mean, they do nothing to me now. Remember, they used to be pretty tough to beat, and now they're just targets. Whoops. Move this over here. There we go. Did he wake up? No. Let's see if he wakes up. I don't need all this, so get rid of it. We're not actually needing to use any inspirations against these guys. Whereas in the Circle of Thorns, I actually ran out of the mission to go get the, not just inspirations because I had none, but the right inspirations because of how tough it was. This is like, notice these guys, I'm taking them down so fast now that they can't even dull pain for the most part. They just don't even do it. Right? And before I wasn't doing enough damage, and they kept managing to dull pain, and then it was taking longer and taking extra hits. I don't think a single one of them has gotten it off yet. Right? So just the difference. I hear somebody. Huh. Just the difference between not only low-level me against the Freak Show versus higher-level me against the Freak Show, but also Freak Show versus Circle of Thorns. This is how I expect this character to perform. Have I had to take a knee this entire mission? Have I had to use really had to use an inspiration? Yes, I've used a few just to clear the bar, but so I can make room for more of the ones I want. But have I had to use an inspiration yet? Did he wake up? Yeah. Nope. I haven't had to, right? I voluntarily used them. I haven't had to put any Lux. I haven't had to use any insight. I don't keep whiffing. So that tells you just how strong the debuffing is from the circle mages, and how strong their buffing is. Now this is a non-standard spawn. Right, this looks like a 4 minion spawn, which is unusual. And he got his dull pain off. That's the first one. Didn't do him any good. Should crit this guy at least once, I hope. There we go. Nice crit there. Done. But again, 4 Freak Show, all next to each other, no problem. This over here. Dull pain, res, none of that does anything anymore to me. It doesn't stop me at all. There we go. So that shows you what a difference it makes. And this is why, one of the things that makes it really hard about leveling up, because this thing, I should be on +2 for these guys, maybe even +3, because there's just no challenge. But if I was +2 or 3 for the circle, imagine what would have happened. And I don't want to keep, like, depending on who the enemy is, switching from one notoriety level to another. I just feel like that's just gaming the system too much. There we go. But you can see how much easier this is. And the Nemesis were too in the last mission I did, so. Oh, ow, that hurt. Alright. Let's knock them down. There they go. Oh, I didn't wait for this guy to res, did I? That was sloppy. Part of the problem is it's so easy. When it's too easy, then you get sloppy and you're not careful. Need that. Got him before the dull pain finished triggering. And there we go. Alright, so now we gotta wait. So there's one reporter left, and I think that one's being threatened up there, maybe. But there's also a glowy. The funny thing is, I don't think he can see me through the windows. Nope. They don't aggro to you through the windows. So you can see them, but they can't see you. It's treated like a wall. Look at that, I almost 3-shotted a lieutenant. 4-shotted, even with dull pain. And we'll knock these guys over. Well, it didn't knock him, but we critted him. Didn't really need to use that, but I'm perfectly fine using it since we didn't really need it. We haven't really needed a single inspiration for survival in this mission. There's the desk, and we click. And you can really see how old this game is by the shape of the monitors. Because, I mean, I think by 2005 I had a flat screen. And I certainly wasn't the first person to ever get a flat screen. So, Schwarzwald's Files. I fell through the floor. I did not know my ninja slide jump could get me into trouble. Fell through the floor. These computer files contain hundreds of pages of research, suppositions, clippings, and interviews. They all seem to be centered around the Freak Show, but aren't in any kind of organized pattern that you can see. Okay, so we've missed somebody on another floor, it looks like. Probably somebody res that I didn't wait for. Because this is a dead end, so now we gotta go back and look for them. Zoom the map out. Okay, there doesn't seem to be anybody. Usually there'd be a little red arrow that tells you where they are. So we'll just keep going, and there's anybody in here. No, I beat up the guys in here. And I beat up the guys in here. Okay. Yeah, we'll keep going. First floor. Did I miss somebody down here? I didn't miss anybody down here, so I don't know. Who did I miss? There's nobody in here. Well, this is a little strange. Usually when you're down to the last couple of guys, you get a little red arrow showing which ones are where, and with the freak shows you can almost always hear them. Did I leave somebody by the entrance or something? Nope. Alright, I'm going to go through this one more time. If I can't find it, I'll cut the video and keep looking, and I'll bring you guys back when I find them. So now this is similar to the structure below, or above in the next. We have this same structure. See how I was saying in the previous episode they're all built from pieces. I thought it was procedurally generated and they just hooked up the hallways. But maybe we haven't been in here. Maybe we have not been in these rooms. Yeah, there it is. Okay. And that's odd that they weren't making any noise. I guess none of the electric ones are in here. Alright. See, what confused me is I had beaten somebody in these stairwells, in the stairwell in the floor below, and I thought it was this one when I came by it. Alright, so we have completed the mission. We can head out. And this is the beginning of the story arc, so we'll ask her for information. Let's see, we'll call her up. And she says, it's a shame you weren't able to save that Schwarzwald fellow. It sounds like he was the freak show's primary target. At least you were able to recover his files and save other people, right? Most of these notes do seem to be about the freak show, though I'm afraid they'd only make sense to Schwarzwald himself. Maybe he got too close to something, and that's a typo. There are several references to meetings with a man named Joe Baker. Maybe he can tell us more about the freak show's attack, available missions, and she says, I've determined that the freak show will go down for the murder of that reporter. I'm determined that they will go down for the murder of that reporter, Mike Schwarzwald. I've located this Joe Baker mentioned in Schwarzwald's files. It turns out Mr. Baker is a mid-level manager at Cray Industries. I managed to contact him, and he agreed to meet with you, but he sounded really nervous. I'd recommend that you be ready for anything. So now the question is are the freak show working with the Cray or attacking the Cray? This will be in Atlas Park, and we will do that another episode. Oh, look at that. What this NPC just said. Did it say it? Yeah. Her name is Stefana. She said, you should have seen it. Freak Show, Warrior, Sky Raiders, all in the same place. It's a good thing Silver Phoenix showed up. And I do like that. They actually programmed the game so that NPCs walking past you will say something to another NPC about your character, so it makes it seem like what your character's doing is in the news and everything, which is pretty cool. Alright, so we are done. Got a couple of enhancements we're just going to sell. We're done with today for now, and I will be back with another episode shortly.